Hello, everybody, and welcome to your friend and astrologer, Gretchen Hidell. I am here live tonight on Monday, December 5th on Facebook, live on Facebook, and then I'm also co-recording for YouTube so that I can upload that at some point as well. So welcome, welcome. So if you see me switching up and down, that's why I'm looking in two different camera spaces. And I am going to be talking about this really big full moon that we have coming here this week in December 2022. So if you're just joining me live, welcome, welcome. Go ahead, like and share, and post below because that's what starts to get the algorithm moving. But we have a lot of planetary energy this week. It's a real doozy of a week here in December 2022. I'm going to be talking about the full moon that we have coming in Gemini. And also there is something called an occultation with Mars that is going to be involved with this. Now, you might not have ever heard that word before, occultation, and I'm going to be talking about that a lot tonight. It's very similar. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. It's very similar to an eclipse. And there's other planets on the move. You know, we have some planets moving, direction. They're going to be changing signs, and we'll be talking a little bit about that. So welcome, welcome. If you're just joining, go ahead and comment your astrological sign and where you are viewing from. I love to hear that, especially here on YouTube as well. Facebook and YouTube, welcome. And I am going to be uploading this later on YouTube. So go ahead and comment below. But yeah, we have this big full moon coming. It's going to be in July, July. What am I talking about? December. Here on the 7th, December 7th, 2022. It's going to be the peak of it, the height of it, they call the apex of this full moon is going to be at a 11:08 p.m. On Wednesday night. So it'll be earlier than that if you're on the West Coast. And so, yeah, so there's a lot of astrological energy. It'll be 8:08 p.m. on the West Coast if you're joining here from the other side of the country. But there's a lot. It's also called the cold moon. Okay, I think that's self-explanatory. It's December, so it's supposed to be colder. In Vermont, it's not as cold as it usually is. We have some global warming stuff. Hey, Andrea, welcome. There you go, Aries, Gemini. Yeah, Gemini. This is going to be your moon, Andrea. So anybody who's a Gemini out there, please listen up. Gemini, Sagittarius there's a bunch of signs that are going to be involved with this particular full moon. So go ahead and comment below, like and share if you're just joining me live, and welcome here on Facebook and on YouTube. So we have the cold full moon. It's going to be taking place in the evening on Wednesday, but that's the peak of it. That's the height of it. That's what they call the apex of it when it's at its maximum fullness. But really, you have to remember that really at 24, even 72 hours before a full moon, it's activated. So hello, it's active right now at the time of this broadcast on Monday. We are going to be activated in this full moon energy, and this particular full moon has like a 1-2 punch associated with it, meaning that there's a lot of energy around this full moon. Full moons, in general, can be a time of endings, completions, wrapping up, finishing a cycle, And by the way, this particular cycle did start in Gemini on May 30th. And that was when the last Gemini new moon took place, is May 30th. 2022. So that's when all this energy, this downloading of energy gets started. And go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead, tap that like button, because that's what starts to get it rolling in the algorithm. And we get more viewers that way, and they don't go, oh, we missed you, Gretchen. So basically what the deal is that we have this full moon coming to this apex and this peak on Wednesday, but we're feeling it now. But really within the last 2 weeks, and I have a lot of people that have been texting me and emailing me, what's going on? Because the energy feels very contentious right now. It feels very difficult right now. There's a little bit of fighting energy going on. And that's because Mars is really active with this full moon. This full moon, it's in Gemini, and you think, Gretchen, Gemini, that's Mercury. And you are correct. But Mars is retrograde in Gemini as well. So Mars is in Gemini. The full moon's going to be in Gemini. If you are a Gemini and or if you are a Sagittarius, you are going to be in the peak of this, in the height of it. 16 degrees Gemini is the peak of this. So if you're born right in the middle of Gemini, you're going to feel this energy, and it's going to be a lot. Hello, Lee. Welcome. Kelly, Leo, Florida. Welcome. I love Florida energy. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome. And yeah, so you're going to be right in the peak of this. Or if you are another mutable sign. So not only is Gemini going to feel this, Sagittarius is going to feel this, but also Pisces is going to feel this. Virgo is going to feel this, okay? Because Virgo is another mutable energy. And how about let's talk about who Mars is ruled by. Mars is ruled by, Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. So now we got Aries, Scorpio, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo. Oh, and also always Cancers. Cancers are ruled by the moon. So if you have any Cancerian energy in your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, whatever, then you would feel the moon cycles more, especially if you have a Cancerian moon, because, the sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon. So that's another sign that's caught up in this full moon. This full moon is fully loaded, it's jam-packed, and there's a lot going on with it. So basically, I'm going to give you kind of the layout of sort of what is happening. I know Andrea said I'm all three of those things. Yes, your big three is all three of the signs that I mentioned, which is, it's a lot of full moon-ness stuff going on. So I want to talk about the energy that is going into this. We're going to talk about the full moon. We're going to talk about this, what is an occultation? I hope I'm saying that correctly, because it's not exactly a household word. And also what other energies are surrounding. I'm going to give you a clue. There's 2 planets moving into Capricorn this week. So we have a lot of planetary stuff. And of course, at the very end, I'm going to answer a couple questions, and then I will pull some cards as well, because I have some cards sitting here waiting to go. So if you guys know the drill, go ahead and post below. I love hearing Monica. Happy St. Nick's. Yes, thank you. Leo, Virgo. Yes, welcome, Monica. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to just dive right into the deep end, because that's what most people want to know, right? Is what's the full moon? What's happening? Okay, so the full moon, like I said, is going to peak out on Wednesday. That's the peak of it, the apex of it. And so remember, it's just like walking up a mountain. We're walking up a mountain. We're at the top of the mountain. That's the peak. And then we come down off the mountain. That's the way these astrological planets are. And that's what we are dealing with this particular full moon coming in the astrological sign of Gemini. So the apex of it, the peak of it, is 11:08 p.m. Eastern Time, or 8:08 p.m. If you're Pacific Standard Time out on the West Coast, or adjust wherever you are in the world, to that. And that's what your peak is going to be. Hey, Angela, Pisces Sun from Texas. Welcome. That's awesome. I love it. I think I pronounced your name wrong. Angelia. Sorry, I don't. I'm looking at this feed and it goes kind of fast. So anyway, so basically what the deal is we are going to be feeling a lot of this Gemini energy. Now, where is Gemini in your astrological chart? In other words, what house is Gemini in? And you will know where this energy is kind of maxing out, peaking out. And like I said, it started in May 30th of 2022. That's when the new moon in Gemini took place. Remember, new moons are about new things, planting new seeds. Full moons are harvest Okay, so it's the peak of it, it's the wrapping up of it, it's the apex of it, right? So yes, full moon. Did I say a different date, Andrea? She said full moon Wednesday, 11:08 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, that's exactly correct. That's the peak of it. Having said that, though, we're going to feel this full moon for at least 48 hours to 72 hours, okay, when we get into that zone, and it starts, like I call it, tickling us. It starts to tickle us and make us kind of get ramped up. There's a lot of energy going into this particular full moon. And so what's going to happen is there's an occultation involving Mars during this particular full moon. So if you want to think about an occultation, it's very, very similar to an eclipse where the one planet's energy cuts off the other. That's kind of what's happening. But instead of there being a shadow, the difference between the eclipse and the occultation is instead of there being a shadow coming across, what happens is the energy, the planet from our view gets completely blocked. So just for a minute, it disappears, right? So it's like it literally just shuts off and shuts back on again. So that's the difference between the eclipse and an occultation. It means it literally blocks the energy. And so what happens is the full moon is going to block Mars just for a moment, okay? And then that's going to be the big full moon, Mars involvement with all this, and the sun. So the Mars is going, and the full moon are going to be opposite of the sun. The sun right now is in Sagittarius, 16 degrees Sagittarius. So the moon and Mars are 16 degrees Gemini. And this is very exciting from not only an astrological point of view, but it's also very exciting from an astronomical point of view, because this is the most exact that it's going to be until the year of 2059. There will be another one in 2025 taking place, but it'll be 2 days after the full moon, and it won't be as exact and it won't be as pinpointed as this particular. This one's going to be a big doozy of one. So the next time it's going to happen in this way, like it will on Wednesday, is 2059. So if you think about it, that's a long time to wait again for this event to take place. So yeah, so it's exciting. It's going to take place, the occultation, meaning the blocking out. So it's just going to like literally just, where usually an eclipse, there's a shadow that starts to go over, right? No, this is going to be a complete blocking out. So if you have a telescope, it'll be fun to see. And if there's clear skies, it'll start around 8-10 p.m. roughly Eastern time. So adjust for that. If you know, on the West Coast, I don't know how dark it'll be out West at that time. But it'll just be very cool. So 8-10 p.m. it'll be starting this occultation in the evening on Wednesday. And so what we're looking for is Mars, and it's going to be completely blocked out. Okay. So that's kind of exciting. You know, Mars right now is also retrograde, and Mars is retrograde in the astrological sign of Gemini. Now, last week, we had a lot of Mars activity. I didn't post a video about last week. A lot of people were like, what in the heck is going on? Because last week was very contentious, if you will. So I'm just going to review, because there was so much Mars energy. I just want to tell you guys what was happening last week, because then it's building into this week. So we had last Monday on November 28th, we had Mars was trine Saturn. Then the next day we had Mercury opposing Mars, and that was on the 29th. Then on Thursday, the 1st, December 1st, Venus was opposing Mars. Okay, so there's a lot of Mars activity in Mars. And now this week we have this Mars occultation and involved with the full moon. So it's going to be full moon, sun, and Mars all together, and then the Earth is like smushed in the middle there, like the creamy, delicious center of an Oreo cookie, only not so creamy and not so delicious with all of this energy going on. I think it's going to be really pulling us. We could, unfortunately, because remember, Mars is the god of war. We can't, there's nothing we can do about that. Mars is the god of war. And Mars, if you think about it is our drive. It's our ambition. It's go, go, go. It's like having an engine in the car, right? Mars is like the gas pedal of the car. It's like, let's go, let's fire up, let's do this. Angelia said, oh my, I'm going to stay in bed all day. Yes, you might want to be staying in bed all day. And Naomi, hey, welcome. Tagging her friends. That's the other thing. You can tag your friends in the post, and they will also see that I am live, which is pretty fun. So the Mars-Sun opposition technically peaks out on Thursday at 12:42 a.m. So overnight, right after midnight, on Thursday. So if you think about the full moon is at 11:08 p.m. Eastern time, and then this Sun-Mars opposition is coming to a peak just after midnight, 12:42 a.m. So you can see it's all smushed in there, and that's on Thursday the 8th. So it's right in there. So they're really right on top of each other at this time, and it's a lot of downloading. So Mars is our drive, it's our ambition, it's our motivation. It's also who we're sexually attracted to. Okay, so if you ever look in your astrological chart and you know what your Mars sign is, you will know what sign you're sexually attracted to, which is a little side fun thing. I'm trying to be light because Mars can be quite heavy. Mars is our ambition, it's our drive, it's our motivation. And so with Mars retrograde, when I'm seeing a lot of people and a lot of my clients are like really feeling like one step forward, two steps back, two steps forward, one step back. You know, like that's kind of how progress is during Mars retrograde. It's really like annoying. I'm an Aries, so I find Mars retrograde to be completely annoying. I don't love Mars retrograde. I'm like, don't be messing with my planet. I feel bad for all you Geminis and Virgos out there because you guys are always dealing with Mercury retrograde. So I can't be whining too much about this, but I will just say that Mars retrograde is really annoying because when we think about forward progress and forward movement and trying to get ahead in life and trying to let's go with our plans, it's retrograde, so it's not letting us really get like full steam ahead. And that's a little bit frustrating. I've had a lot of clients calling me saying, Gretchen, I feel stuck. I feel like I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm working on this and this and this, and it hasn't quite worked out yet. And so that's Mars retrograde. So during every single retrograde, there's like a middle hot spot. There's like a spot where it's like really sort of clustered in there. And it usually happens around the middle of the retrograde where we really feel like it's like this is it. We are in that right now. These 2 weeks that we're in, last week of November, first week of December, even now getting in the second week of December, we are really, really in a hot spot sort of period. Nothing we can do about it, just we're going to be patient. That's the big thing with Mars retrograde is we got to be patient. We got to be patient because it's not a quick thing. It only happens once every 2 years, so we can put it happens. Mars retrograde, out of all of the personal planets, happens the least retrograde, the least amount of times. So we have to be patient. It's only once every 2 years, you know, that we have to put up with this. And it is a time to review, like, how do our actions sort of influence the outcome? How do our actions influence the outcome? Are we doing things that are going to be conducive to a positive outcome and to getting good results? That's like Mars retrograde. Mars is really like, let's just go. Like Mars can sometimes go off like kind of half-cocked, not really thinking about the consequences and, being like planning and being wise and all that. Now, when we look at Gemini, we look at the astrological sign that's all about information. Now, remember, this is a mercurial Mars, and it's a mercurial full moon. So if we think about technology, and if we think about, information and disseminating information, and it can be a little bit gossipy. Gemini can be a little gossipy, or just spreading the news. We might be hearing a lot of news it is similar in some ways. I have to be very clear. It's not a Mercury retrograde, but there are elements to this Mars retrograde that are very mercurial. The difference is, and I really want to make sure that I'm clear about this, because I had a couple of people ask me last time. They said, when I did an initial thing about Mars retrograde, they were like, so I'm not supposed to buy technology and I'm supposed to wait and blah, blah. No, that's not the instruction with this particular retrograde. What it is, in fact, I'm up leveling all my technology right now. All of my technology is like so old that the dinosaurs know how to use it. It's that old. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was texting on my cell phone, okay? I mean, everything was old. So I've been upgrading all my technology. And so, yeah, where's the action? Where's the motivation? Well, for me, it's in my technology. See, remember, Mercury is the winged messenger. So it's how we stay connected with others. It's emails, it's texting, it can be printers, it can be all that kind of stuff, right? It's like how we get around. So cars, planes, trains, automobiles, that's how we, kind of operate buses, transit, whatever. That is also part of this. And if you think about it, President Biden just sort of pushed through that because what came back on the table was that rail strike, right? And President Biden just like sort of pushed it through, or I don't remember. I don't know how exactly it worked, but somehow it was alleviated and the rail strike was alleviated. But that came back onto the table, right? See, remember, we're repeating things, like things that we put effort and energy towards in the past pertaining to this Gemini energy is coming back now to be reviewed. And so wherever Gemini in your chart is the area where it rules over teachers, it rules over students, it rules over hobbies, it rules over siblings and cousins, it rules over your neighborhood, like your little area of the world. So it can be literally your neighbors or your neighborhood. And it rules over like networking and sort of, again, it's like that dissemination of information. And Mars is saying we have to put our effort towards these areas, but the effort isn't exactly easy. It's like a little bit laborious and hard to kind of get going and get motivated with this Mars retrograde. And then we have the full moon in that area too. So if you are a Gemini, if you are a Sagittarius, you're right in the heart of this. So you're going to be feeling that. Or if you're one of the other air signs, so Aquarius also and Libra also, other air signs will be feeling this, though you guys might be feeling this maybe a little bit more in a positive way because it's a little bit more activating some of that energy. And if you're a Sagittarius, this is going to be a full moon for you personally. Sagittariuses are going to get a little, basically in their chart, because this is will be your personal full moon. And whenever these planets are tickling planets that are in our charts already, and especially if they're opposing, like Sagittarius, they're gonna the full moon and Mars are opposing you right now. That's gonna be harder for sure. That's gonna be harder. Where if you're another air sign, it'll activate you. You might be a little extra hyper, a little extra like buzzy. A lot of times people have trouble sleeping around full moons, and especially with this Mars additional energy. Mars is our action in our charts, so it can even be. When I originally posted about this, I was talking about how it could be returning to a workout. I know a lot of people have been asking about this working out and exercising and doing all that kind of stuff. Angelia said, what if your Mars is in Sagittarius? Yeah, I mean, you're getting your Mars opposition. This is like a full moon Mars for you, big time. So yeah, so if Mars is in Sagittarius, this is opposing you. So if you think about Mars operating normally, it's our get up and go, and it's our physicality, it's our vitality. So right now, especially like if you're talking about having planets in Sagittarius, specifically, you could be feeling run down. Sometimes Mars retrograde, people get sick or they get Now, I've been very worried sort of about this Mars time because of the viruses that are going around. We're talking about a triple pandemic, whatever they're calling it now, triple demic, I don't know, whatever word they're using, with RSV, with COVID, with the flu, all three hitting at once. Well, if you think of Gemini, Gemini is the lungs, and it's also your hands, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulder. Okay, so it's basically the shoulder all the way down to your hands. Gemini rules over manual dexterity. So it's interesting. A lot of people I know that are Geminis work with their hands. They're musicians. They cut hair. They do different things with their hands. So dexterity is a big Gemini thing. And if you think of Mars as inflammation, so that can be, you know, having inflamed hands or having like sore shoulders or some kind of thing. I've had a bunch of people contact me recently that did like a shoulder injury or a partial rotator cuff tear or whatever thing with the shoulders and arms. But getting back to this respiratory stuff, be careful when you're going out traveling around and stuff, especially during this Mars retrograde, because it's happening all during cold and flu season, and that can be a vulnerable area of the body at this time. So you might want to mask again or whatever it is. Kelly asked a great question. When does Mars retrograde end? Mars retrograde ends on January 12th, I believe. Is the exact date. I don't actually have my 2023 calendar here in my lap, but I believe it's January. It's definitely January. So we have a little bit more to go. You know, we have more of this time frame to go. But like I said, it's a hotbed right now in this sector of this Mars retrograde, and it's like a hot point of the retrograde. It's on fire, kind of. Oh, Jacqueline, Gemini moon, and out of nowhere, you have tendonitis in your forearm. Yeah, see, that's an interesting thing. So yeah, it's all of this whole area of the body, and especially if you already have planets. I always tell people, when you have planets in a sign, it is either going to be your superpower or it's going to be your kryptonite. And if contentious energy starts to activate it, it will be more of the kryptonite side of things, meaning that it might act up, it might flare up, it might end up being something that, you know, it bothers you. So that's basically what the deal is. Now, I want to say this. We all have these astrological, even if you are not a Gemini or Sagittarius or Aries or Scorpio or whatever, we all have Gemini in our astrological charts. There's always a house, even if it's empty. So there's always an area of life that these planets influence. So even if you don't know all that stuff and you don't know your chart, I love doing these broadcasts because it gets people thinking. It gets you thinking about your chart. My goal in life is to have people, everyday people, talking about astrology. I would love for doctors, lawyers, physicians, whoever, I don't know, teachers. I would love for people to start talking about astrology in a normalized way, where it's not like, oh, I don't really believe in these things, but, you know, and like kind of on the DL, on the down low. I would love for people to have these beautiful conversations. So if you don't normally get along with Geminis in your life, you might have a sticky point in Gemini somewhere in your chart. That means that this energy might also be irritating to you. If you love Gemini, all your BFFs are Geminis, okay? I have a lot of friends that are Geminis personally. Then that could be okay for you. This might be a wonderful energy for you. I happen to love Geminis. I love that Peter Pan, lively, curious energy that Gemini brings. And both Gemini and Sagittarius are both very cerebral sort of signs that love information. They are super curious. They're always like looking and researching and wanting to try new things. That to me is fun energy. I happen to love that Sagittarius Gemini energy. But these are contentious planets, and the full moon on steroids, kind of. But yeah, astronomers have been talking about this occultation for like a year now. It's like kind of a big doozy. So if you get a chance, what you're looking for and what will happen is it will actually just disappear, in the sky, and that'll be kind of an interesting thing, a phenomena to observe. But it doesn't matter if we're observing it or not. We're all feeling it. We're all feeling it here on this planet. And it's a big deal. So you guys are all like, oh God, Yes, it's coming. It's coming. So please be gentle, calm, and patient with yourself. Be calm and patient and gentle with others, compassionate. A lot of this is information. There's going to be a lot of busyness. There's probably going to be a lot of texts, emails, phone calls. There's going to just be that Gemini sort of stuff that is very hard to sort of ground ourselves. I was looking all over for my howlite. I can't find it. I was trying to find it. I just found it. Okay. I always show you guys my howlite when I'm talking about Gemini. This is very Gemini energy stone here. Howlite actually is white. This is a dyed piece of howlite, but I love it because it's good for grounding. So that's going to be the big thing, is our nervous system is going to be, I think, wired for sound, very jacked up, very like, again, having trouble sleeping and all that. Gemini is the consummate multitasker. So we got to remember that multitasking is merely an illusion. Okay, nobody actually really multitasks very well. Studies have shown that the brain doesn't actually fully multitask, and we're kind of doing it halfway over here and halfway over there, and it's not really getting done properly. So that's like a myth, a myth. So with Gemini, we want to make sure we slow things down. So howlite is a wonderful stone to use to meditate with during some of this full moon, cold moon, Mars occultation, all the stuff that's happening at one time, is to calm down. Also, the dark, I'm always talking about the dark stones are always grounding. So black tourmaline, jet, onyx, hematite, all these stones. And by the way, I'm announcing tonight, this is going to be on my YouTube and I'm going to post below. I restarted my jewelry business as an Opulenza representative. I'm so excited. I had let it go dormant a little bit during the pandemic and also after I fell and broke my legs last year. So it was a little too much for me to handle all at one time. So I'm starting up my Opulenza business, and a lot of these pieces that I'm wearing, in fact, almost all of them are Opulenza pieces that I have bought over the years. This is Labradorite. You guys can see the cool blue color. And by the way, blue is a Gemini color. That's why I'm wearing some blue tonight. Yay. And then this is a little tiny, beautiful, sparkly piece of onyx. If you guys can kind of see here, it's faceted, so that's fun too. So I am going to put some links, and if you guys shop with me, I am a representative. I do receive a commission at no extra fee to you. So if you want to shop in my store, I did post it on my regular Facebook page, and then I'm going to post it on the show notes with a link so that you guys can purchase. Just select me as your representative when you check out. So anyway, so getting back to these darker colored stones, I practice what I preach. You will always see me, even if you bump into me at the grocery store, I got my stones on, because the energy really does ground us, and it helps to ground. You can go outside, and it's a little hard this time of year, especially during the cold months, to connect to the earth and connect to the ground. That's a little chilly. And so that's something that you can do. But whatever you want to do as far as meditation, as far as prayer, as far as yoga even, it's a good idea to get outside. I'm looking up and looking down because I'm actually recording on 2 devices right now, for YouTube and for Facebook. So if you see me doing that, somebody said to me last time they thought I was channeling, because when I channel, I often look out into the across the room to when I'm doing my spiritual work. But this time I'm actually looking at a different camera. So So anyway, so that's happening on Wednesday. And please post if you guys have any questions about that. 11:08 p.m. Eastern time, once again, on the East Coast. And then the occultation starts at 8:10 p.m. on the East Coast. So if you wanted to see that, that's the times. Now there's a bunch of energy surrounding. There's another planet that's very active. So we have Mars very active, but we also have Neptune very active this past couple weeks as well. Neptune is it's in Pisces right now. Now on December 3rd, Neptune is no longer retrograde. Neptune went direct. Usually I'm celebrating when a planet goes direct. I'm like, yay. This is the only time that I'm not happy about Neptune. I like Neptune retrograde because Neptune is a little shady. And so when it's going full forward, it's going full forward with its shadiness, okay, with its sketchiness. So basically, it's one of those things that somebody posted, oh, when will Mars retrograde end? On January 12th, 2023. So anyway, so on December 3rd, on Saturday, Neptune retrograde ended and Neptune is now direct. And what's happening is anytime the planets are going through Sagittarius while Neptune's in Pisces, it's forming a square with each of those planets. So there's been squares going on. So there's Mars and Neptune. Now Mars and Neptune, they are not good bedfellows. I'm just saying, like, they're not good together. All right, so I'm looking at my calendar. So December 1st, Mercury formed a square with Neptune, okay, and that means yucky. Sunday on December 4th, Venus formed a square with Neptune, and then eventually, I can't remember when it's coming. Oh yeah, the Sun is going to form a square with Neptune on the 14th. So for really these few weeks, we have the Neptune energy, the Pisces Neptune energy in the background. Now, like I just said, Mars is our driving force. Mars gets us going. Well, Neptune is like, let's float on a lily pad and write a poem and not get to work on time and feel a little spacey and feel a little out of it. Yes, it's the holiday season. Yes, sometimes we feel that way anyway. But with Mars being retrograde, now Neptune's involved with everything. OMG, like we have a lot of energy going on right now behind the scenes. So when Mars and Neptune interact with each other, it doesn't feel good. It makes us feel a little weird. I guess good things to do during Mars and Neptune is to like sing a song, write some poetry, meditate, pray, all that kind of stuff. But you can hear how that's not very linear. And if you have to get the job done, if you have to go to like tend to all the details and oh my God, now I'm trying to do a holiday shopping and I can't focus because I'm spacey and I feel a little out of it, you can blame Neptune because Neptune is responsible for the spacey feeling. And that's going to be going on. That started last week and then it's continuing into this week and even next Wednesday, the 14th, it's continuing on. So there's a little bit of weird energy behind the scenes. Now I want to talk about Mercury. On Tuesday the 6th, Mercury is going to move into Capricorn, and Venus is going to move into Capricorn on the 9th. Okay, so we have two big planets, Mercury and Venus, moving into Capricorn. I actually think this could be good because you know how I just described the other two being kind of spacey and out of it, like Mars retrograde, and then we have the Neptune, and then, oh my God, full moon. Now we have Capricorn energy starting. Now, the official time and start of Capricorn season is actually on the solstice, which is coming up on the 23rd this year. Wait a minute, is that the right time? No, sorry, the 21st this year. That's the next new moon is on the 23rd. The 21st is going to be when we start Capricorn season officially. But right now, we're getting a little preview of Capricorn season. So Capricorn can make us a little bit more focused in the middle of all, Capricorn's kind of like the adult in the room. You know, like, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting there on your PlayStation all day? Get to work. You know, that's Capricorn. So we do have a little bit, which I actually think could help to sort of counterbalance this spacey sort of stuff, because Capricorn's now like, I just want to lay in bed all day. But, you know, that's Neptune and Mars. But Capricorn told me I got to get to work and get busy. So that's basically what's happening here, is that we have this Capricorn energy. So on Tuesday, the 6th, Mercury's going to move into Capricorn at 5:08 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Friday the 9th, Venus is going to be moving into Capricorn at 10:54 p.m. on Friday night Eastern time. So that'll be exciting. Now, that's also going to be a month-long cycle for Venus. Venus in Capricorn is very interesting. So I don't know if anybody out there that has Venus in Capricorn, or if you have any, because that's your love in the CEO department. So Venus in Capricorn has a few tendencies, which is interesting. It's to fall in love with someone who's older, or more mature, or more responsible, or a very hard worker, or a workaholic. Venus in Capricorn is looking for something that we don't talk about, but like, it's almost like, and it's kind of icky to say, but it's almost like good breeding, okay? Like a pedigree. Like, you want to have someone that has a good job and comes from a good family and has good background and has all this, like, we're looking for someone who has more of a, like, a little bit of a pedigree, if you will, like that's not like some whatever different sign that's, you know, this is more of a sign that's looking for like top-notch quality. Venus in Capricorn can be a little chilly, because if you think about it, that's like, oh, that's not making way for a lot of like mistakes to happen. And Venus in Capricorn can be very similar to Venus in Virgo sometimes, in the fact of like, if it's not perfect, there's a lot of disillusionment that goes on. Now, if you have Venus in Capricorn in your chart, you will experience this on a personal level, and that's kind of how you love. But we will all get a little bit of help from this Venus in Capricorn. Now, I say help because what if you're a person that picks people that let you down, or picks people who are less than, like, maybe they had no job, maybe they just got out of jail, maybe they have a drug and alcohol problem. You know, people that maybe you need a little help discerning a little bit more. And I'm not trying to sound like a snob here, although Venus in Capricorn can be a little snobby. I mean, I'm just trying to describe the energy. But sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need a little extra, like, discernment. And so Venus in Capricorn, anytime Venus is in the earth signs, it can be very positive for love life, especially if you have a habit of picking the wrong people. I call that in my sessions having a broken picker, meaning your picker is a little off and you're not very good at picking partners and so being selective. Venus in Capricorn can help us with that, but we don't want to get the sort of danger, or the thing we have to look out for is we don't want to get too kind of hung up on the pedigree, hung up on, well, I don't know, they went to Stanford, they didn't go to Harvard, or I don't know, whatever, like, thought, like, you know, that we might have that we want. I always say it's wonderful to pray for, I say this in my coaching sessions when I'm doing dating and relationship coaching. It's good to ask for what we need, not what we want. Ask your angels, ask your spirit guides for what you need, not necessarily what you want. Because us humans can be flawed, and sometimes we can want things. I mean, I want chocolate cake every day of the week. I'm just saying, I love me some chocolate cake, and I want chocolate cake breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what I want. But what I need, salad, smoothies, you know, healthy stuff, right? So if you think about saying that as a mantra or saying that as a prayer, that's actually a great prayer or a mantra to say, in relation to love, in relation to jobs, in relation to anything like that. You can say, give me what I need, not what I want. And that will help you to be able to kind of pull in, because sometimes we get, as humans, can get really fixated on silly things and not on what's important. What you really need, I'm just going to tell you a little hint or trick or tip from John Gottman and the Gottman Institute. All popular psychology and couples counseling and work is done around John Gottman's work. As a person that had studied for 40 years, he studied relationships in the Love Lab, where it was like human experiments on basically on couples and how they operate, and what he studied human behavior basically. And what he found in the Love Lab is that couples that show each other consistent kindness is really the thing, is what you need. And those couples have the highest degree of staying together. And that's what John Gottman's research has discovered. So, and it wasn't like the big grand gesture. It was these little acts of kindness all the time, consistently, that really, like, anytime a partner turned toward another partner, turned toward each other, and said, what do you need? What do you want? Good to help you. What's your day like? All this stuff, and asked each other questions and really talked to each other. Those were the couples that had the high. In fact, some of those couples actually fought, and they fought quite a lot. Fighting was not really the key thing. It was how the couples fought, okay, in the Love Lab, that really denoted. But if they were basically kind to each other, even while they were fighting, they were basically kind to each other. That was what. So when you're single, if there's a lot of single people out there watching my broadcast, you want to, or if you're in a relationship, remember kindness. That, sometimes we take our partner for granted, and we don't mean to, but, our partner needs something and it's like, oh, I'm busy, I have to do this and this. It's to remember to turn toward each other and to really, and it's both ways. It goes both ways. Both parties have to be kind to each other. It's not one person giving, and the other person taking. Katrina, yay, welcome. Venus in Capricorn, yay, that's my one Venus in Capricorn person there. I have Mars in Capricorn, so it's a little bit similar, but yeah, so how we want to be loved. And by the way, Venus in Capricorn can be quite traditional. You might like more of a traditional sort of setting with Venus in Capricorn, especially when you're in the younger years. Venus in Capricorn can be quite traditional, so that's a good thing too. But try not to get overly focused on the list, while we're shopping. But this can give us more discipline in the love department. And also, Katrina, that can make you predisposed to finding relationships in the workplace. That Venus and Capricorn people often meet people in the workplace, and they have workplace romances, which can be fun too. So on Friday, speaking of Venus, on Friday, Venus is going to form a square with Jupiter. Now, it's a square, and squares in astrology are considered to be not as friendly. However, this is Venus and this is Jupiter. So even though it's a square, they're two nice planets. So Friday might be a nice day. Venus is going to be moving into Capricorn that night. And then at 7:55 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, we have Venus square Jupiter. That might be our nice spot in the week, okay? The only caveat with Venus square Jupiter is don't push your luck in the love department or getting too carried away by love. But, I mean, come on, it's fun. It's Venus and Jupiter, because remember, Jupiter makes everything bigger, and Venus is there, and so that can be a very good thing. Though we can spend a little too much money when Venus and Jupiter come together. That can be a little bit of an expensive day. So we want to watch that, because Venus has a lot of good taste. So one other thing I wanted to talk about that I didn't mention in the beginning, and I just want honorable mention, is that we are in a universal 9-month. Okay, we're in a universal 9-month. Okay, this year, universal year, is a 6, and 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, so how you figure it out is you do 12 December, 1 plus 2 is 3, and then the universal year 2022 is 6, so 3 plus 6 is 9, and so that's how you figure out the universal numerology. And so this is a 9-month in Chaldean numerology. Some of you have Linda Goodman star cards that you had gotten because you watch my broadcasts, and I use these star cards all the time. 9 is actually associated with endings, wrapping up, completion, okay, and it is associated with Mars, which is sort of interesting. So now we have another Mars association, but we're really wrapping up the year in a big way. Like this 9 month is really, we're completing something, we're finishing something, we're wrapping it up. And 9 is also the number of the humanitarian. I'm going to show you the Mars card. This is Mars, the number 9 in the deck. I think it's backwards on your deck, but on your camera. But this is Mars, the god of war. So again, this we have another Mars kind of factor. I have to mention to you guys watching, Katrina is the one, the Venus in Capricorn. She met her husband of 43 plus years in the workplace 45 years ago, and you love his stability. See, there you go. I should do this for a living. So anyway, so that is your Venus in Capricorn. I think it's awesome. And yeah, I mean, look, there are great romances that go up in the workplace. I mean, it's not cool to like kind of be in the storage closet on your lunch break, but yeah, meeting somebody in the workplace, that's a Venus, very Venus in Capricorn. I have another client that's Venus in Capricorn, and she met through a happy hour. It was a work related happy hour, and at the bar that they were at with the coworkers, she met her partner. And so, yeah, Venus in Capricorn always has like a work sort of association to it. So that's kind of a fun thing. So we're going to have that for a month. That's going to be active for a month. So we're going to be in that Venus in Capricorn world. And yeah, I think it's good. I think it is a very stabilizing sort of thing. Venus and Capricorn people definitely tend to have longer relationships, which is kind of a fun thing. Okay, so we have this humanitarian, we're wrapping things up, we're finishing, and we really are finishing 2022. It's kind of crazy energy, but we have a lot of finishing energy. I will just say that we want to make sure that we think now about what we are trying to accomplish next year, because Mercury retrograde is starting at the end of this month. And we are going to be ending the year and starting a new year on Mercury retrograde. So heads up, mark your calendars, have it in your day planner, whatever. Mercury retrograde is going to start on December 29th at 4:32 a.m. Eastern time. Mercury retrograde is starting then. And so we are in Mercury retrograde time of life, and Mercury is going to be retrograde in Capricorn. It's going to have an extended stay in Capricorn, and so that's what the deal is, I believe. Let me just make sure. Yep. I was just making sure. Yeah, so it's going to be in Capricorn. So we can't, nothing we can do about that. But what we can do is think now about what it is we want for 2023. What it is we want, what it is we want to achieve as far as goals and different things. Start it now, start it early, start it after Hanukkah, start it after Christmas, whatever, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Start it, maybe start your New Year's resolution a little early, not on January 1st, but maybe starting it in December. So that's going to be active for 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 times a year. But this year, we have the additional couple days where we're going to have a 4th retrograde, Mercury retrograde. So it just is how it is. We can't do anything about it. That's the calendar for this year. So when we're really thinking of wrapping up, completing something, finishing something, we have this full moon where we're completing something, wrapping up something, and finishing something. We really want to think about, what do we want to leave behind, so like we can start afresh and start anew and have a new adventure in our lives. And I think that that's something that's really important. So I hope that helps. So if anybody has any questions, or I am going to be pulling a card for what we need to know about this particular full moon, and astrological, and definitely I would work on grounding. This full moon is going to be a lot. We might hear of more violence. We might hear of more deaths. We might hear of more like famous people passing away. We might hear of more. I was just logging on, and I saw Kirstie Alley passed away. I was so sad about that. Naomi, you have a big decision. All right, let's see. Nora, yeah, oh no, you and your boss keep fighting. That's that energy of Leo. I'm on very low power. I got to do this fast. I'm so sorry. I just got a low power notification. And it looks like, I wonder if I can plug this in. Oh, let me see. Hold on one second. Sorry. There we go. Hopefully that'll hold us. Cause I don't want to like gloss over because it sounds like it's important. All right. So Naomi, what do you need to know? Well, you have very clear cards here. Part of you wants to retreat and run away. Part of you wants to just go and not deal with any of this. But you have to speak your truth and don't compromise. Speak your truth and don't compromise. This is your guardian angel, and this is Saint Agnes of Rome. You got to really stay in your power, and I really feel it's like you can go left or right, and I feel like as if it, this is a good time to go the way that you want to go and not be listening so much. I feel like there's a lot of demands and pressures from your friends and also your family too. Like it feels like you're being pressured to sort of go this one way when really you, in your heart, you kind of want to go a different direction. And something that makes sense for you. And we can't live our life for other people. I'm sorry to say, we can't live our life for other people. Does this have something to do with moving or a house or something? Because I almost feel there's like a housing feeling around this. I don't know if Naomi's still on. It takes a minute to type, but there feels like there might be a moving or a letting go of some kind of a situation. But I would say follow your heart and follow your dreams, because these cards are very explicit and very like clear that you have to like stay within what it is you want, keep your boundaries and do what you want to do. So hopefully while Naomi is typing there, I hope that helps. But I feel like there's a housing thing around this for some reason. So let me know. All right, Nora, any guidance for helping you to deal with the boss? All right, so let's just look very quickly. Okay. Okay, so you're not moving, but someone coming into the home, is that what you're saying? Let me ask if you should do that. Yeah, it had a feeling around a housing question. Is that the big decision you're making? Hey, Gloria. Welcome. Like and share, like and share, like and share. Okay, she said yes. You have a lot of reservations around this, but you have to have a lot of really good boundaries. I actually think you can do this. Naomi, try again and you will succeed. It does mean that this is actually the basis of this card is Mars, the god of war. So it does mean you might have had a bad experience with this person maybe previously, but it's saying that in your heart I think you really want this person to come in because there's the love card came out. And there's a change. I don't know if you can see, but there's a dead tree and a beautiful new tree and a butterfly metamorphosis. So it means there was a change around the situation. So what I would say to you is follow your heart, but really do this with good boundaries. Like from the minute it starts, don't even the first night, if you're like, I'm just going to give you a silly example, but it'll prove like the point that I'm trying to make. Let's say you don't want this person to put their feet on the couch, but you know, the first night, oh, it's okay, just put the feet on the couch. No, I don't even want you to do that. I want you from the very first night and the very first time, I want you to have your boundaries and have very clear expectation and boundaries. That's how this is going to work. And I actually feel that if you hold, you might seem like a bee, you know, you might feel like a bee doing that, you know the word I'm saying, but, or hard ass or something, but I want you to do that because the person will respect you more. Okay. But it feels good. It feels like it's, when you do that, it feels like it works out, and try again, you will succeed. That's the card. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's not like it magically works. You know, Scepter card is not about magically working. It's about more, you had to try. You had to try and try and try and try, and then it works. So I hope that helps, Naomi. But I feel like it's almost going against maybe what other people want or what other people have been telling you. And I think you have to follow your heart. Hope that helps. All right, Nora, you and your boss. Let's see what's going on. And these are the two questions. And then I'm going to pull a card. What do we all need to know in general? What does Nora need to know about this boss situation? Oh, Nora. Oh, Nora. Excuse me. Is this the right job for you? You know, there's a saying in the business world, now that we're talking a lot about Capricorn, there's a saying in the business world, people quit bosses, they don't quit jobs. People quit bosses and not jobs. So if any of y'all are bosses or managers out there, remember that, please. You are shrouded in, there's a lot of confusion around this. Okay, so this card, Vision, is, I know it seems happy, oh, it's a vision, yay. But this is like, also can be deception or feeling like, it's almost like a bait and switch. Like I thought it was like this, and then it's totally not like this, and it's like this. And it's like, almost like this card, Vision, means that you have to have vision, that you have to be able to see things clearly, because I think initially, there's almost like Neptune energy around it. It's like, you didn't see it clearly. And then you get sign from above. Sign from above. Again, guardian angel. And then another guardian angel, look deeper. Sign from above and look deeper means that you are going to get some, you know, I happen to know, Nora, you're very, very, I don't know if you're still on, but you're a very intuitive, okay, person. And so sign from above might mean that your angels are trying to send you some messages here. And look deeper. Well, if you weren't seeing things clearly, then you have to look deeper at the situation within your heart or within yourself. I just feel like this is a tough deal, because I just feel like for some reason there's like, I don't want to say lying, but maybe deception or something about, or maybe your boss tells you like, make sure you get the reports done, and then the next day he's like, or he or she's like, well, the reports weren't important. I don't know why you worked on them. Like, I almost feel like there's a bait and switch kind of feeling. Like you don't get, that's a difficult person to deal with, because you're like, you have a moving target then. Wow. I just asked what you can do about this. This is the breakup card. So Nora, I don't know. I never tell anybody. I'm not one of those readers. It's like, just quit and everything will work out. I mean, I feel like we all have, oh, he has a Pisces moon and he's all over the place. That's what Nora just wrote. Either you are going to leave or he's going to leave. Somebody's going to leave. We hope it's him, but I don't know. Maybe it's you. It looks like she's walking out the door in the picture. You guys on YouTube can see that too. But this is called the breakup card, the split or breaking up. And so basically it's, somebody's got to give somebody, and I have a Pisces moon, I get this, I can be all over the place too, but But there is a Neptunian Pisces, like I can't see clearly, you can't see clearly. It'd be interesting to see. I know that you know a little bit about astrology, or a lot about astrology, and you maybe could see if there's Neptune or Pisces like connections in your chart too. Not only that he has the Pisces moon, but otherwise just being very like explicit in like maybe having him write an email, like what is it, what do you actually want, you know, and then put it in an email. I feel like he's just very not clear about his communication, and like I said, communication right now is very messed up. I hope that helps. I don't know if I really gave you a good you might end up leaving, or him leaving. Have confidence. This just fell out. I always honor cards. If any of you guys do cards on your own, this is the confidence card. And if you ever have a card that flies out, that means that you should always honor it, because your spirit guides or somebody picked that for you. So you should always honor. I call them flyouts. So yeah. So let me just say, what do we need to know about this particular full moon? What is the message around this particular full moon? What's the deal? I'm gonna use this deck. What is the full moon energy that we need to know about? What is the deal? Yeah, what is the deal? By the way, I want to add, Donald Trump is a Gemini, so this might not be a good, fun full moon for him. You know, like I said, there might be some stuff coming up. We might hear in the news this week about him. So yeah, what do we need to know about this particular full moon? Okay, wow. I have another fly out. So I have two cards about this full moon. Practice makes perfect, and marriage, which is interesting because Gemini, the astrological sign of Gemini, actually is the lovers in tarot deck, you know, always looking for the other half, the other person. And so practice makes perfect makes a lot of sense because of this Mars energy, right? The 2 steps forward, 1 step back, blah, 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 blah. It's like we have to make small strides every day. We have to try every day more and more and more to, like, practice does make perfect, you know? And so it's about putting ourselves, it's not about having this one big blowout thing that's amazing. It's like trying and practicing as we go. And this marriage card is also for any of you out there in a love relationship, or if you're even single. Remember, you can't meet anybody when you're locked inside your house. You got to get out, you got to talk, you got to network, you got to socialize. And marriages right now and relationships right now might be a little contentious. I mean, just like we're talking about bosses, we're talking about, you know, managers, we're talking about people that live in our home. This is just a contentious week a little bit, and so we have to kind of be mindful of that with this particular full moon, and that practice makes perfect. Remember what I was saying about John Gottman and the Gottman Institute. Little acts of kindness, little showing of love every day. That's really, love is a verb, and in order to do that, we have to just do the little bit. The little pieces, the little, make ways for the little progress, instead of thinking about it as a sprint. It's more of a marathon right now, especially with this Mars retrograde activity, this full moon. Okay, this Mars occultation, the December 9 month being Mars oriented, Mars being retrograde, Mars. I mean, it's a lot. So just hang in there. Make sure that you ground yourself really well. And I wish you all lots of peace and lots of positive Mars energy. And I will be back on. I'm going to try to do these more regularly now that I'm sort of working out my technology. I'm not totally worked out because, again, I'm taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, even in my own life. So I know the guy's name at Best Buy, and we are now new best friends. So anyway, Lots of love to you guys. If you want to check out some of my jewelry, I'm going to post it in the show notes. And if you do any shopping with me, just go ahead and please put my name in as your representative. Lots of love, peace, light, and happiness to y'all. Happy full moon, and I will see you guys over on the other side.